Good evening, Mr. Bond fans, and welcome once again. So obviously we Bond fans love talking about the James Bond theme songs, rating them, ranking them, all that kind of stuff, and I feel that to us as fans, the images that first come to mind when we think of some of those James Bond songs are the images that we experience them with in the film, i.e. the title sequence. I can't hear Goldfinger without thinking of A Golden Girl, or the opening bars of Nobody Does It Better without the caressing hands opening the song, or Writings on the Wall without hentai tentacle porn, but an often overlooked aspect of the James Bond movie theme song is the corresponding music video. Maybe now they're not such a big deal, but back in the 80s and 90s especially, these were a key part of the movie's promotional material, and a good amount of creative energy goes into making these pieces. So in this video I'll be calling out my top 7 favourite James Bond music videos. For the purposes of this ranking, I'm going to be making judgments purely on the videos themselves. I'm going to be kind of separating them from the songs, so I might really love the song but really hate the video, and really hate the song but really like the video. So with that in mind, we're going into the dishonorable mention first for what I think is the weakest Bond music video to date. It is nothing short of a crime that one of the very best Bond songs in the modern era doesn't really have a proper music video to go with it. And, you know, I understand that Adele was pregnant around the time that they would have potentially shot a music video, so obviously that's well, it would have been a big blow to the promotion of the song in theory, but when it's Adele, it's pretty much guaranteed success anyway. So instead of a proper video, we get a lyric video, which, if I were warbling out the song in a karaoke booth and this was playing on the screen, I'd be fine with it. But the idea that this is as close as we're ever going to get to a music video for Skyfall is pretty terrible. Lyrics basically just appear in front of images reminiscent of the Daniel Kleinman opening credits to the film, and that's really all it is. It does make you wonder why they didn't just release a textless version of the Kleinman opening titles as the music video. I mean, at least then it would have been something. I mean, as it stands, it just seems like a compromised effort, which is a real shame for such a remarkable song. I'd also quite like to throw some dishonorable shade on Writings on the Wall and All Time High too. Both of these videos are quite lazy and poorly edit in scenes from their corresponding films, with the singers just sort of stood around looking, quite frankly, like they'd rather be anywhere else. The songs are great in themselves, but the videos do nothing to act as a visual stimulus for the song, nor get me terribly excited about the films they're supposed to be promoting. And so anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on to the list proper, starting at number 7. Number 7. License to Kill has never been a favourite Bond song for me, but the music video is a lot of fun. Gladys Knight elevating out of a gun barrel in a tuxedo is a fantastic sight, and the whole video kind of plays like the title sequence that never was for License to Kill, and to be honest, feels like a test run for what would come next with Goldeneye, and that's not surprising, as the music video was directed by Daniel Kleinman, who would go on to design most of the title sequences for the Bond films from Goldeneye onwards. A common complaint from me for music videos from songs born from movies is that I don't like it when they edit in bits of the film, like clips from the movies in question. I often find the editing lackluster and would prefer for a music video to kind of stand on its own without needing to throw in a load of unnecessary clips. I know these clips are there because the music video is still a piece of promotional material and it has to promote the film, but I'm just not a fan. That being said, I think License to Kill handles this trope really well, incorporating the clips with filters and graphics and the like that actually feel very appropriate. So obviously this is only number 7 on this list, and a large part of why it isn't higher is that I don't think that some of the effects or shots have aged very well at all, and the video, as a result, generates some, unintended laughter from me every time I see it. I know that it was a different time and everything, but Gladys Knight acting as a wipe transition for her own head is just such a strange, but also kind of delightful sight that just never fails to prompt a smirk, but it just means that I just can't take this seriously. It's hilarious. And that being said, though, it is a fantastic piece of work, and interesting from a Bond history perspective to see a future Bond title designer cutting his teeth and experimenting with some ideas that would reoccur in his own work later on. Number 6. The music video for The World Is Not Enough is really quite an odd one. It tells a very clear story of a robot played by Garbage's lead singer, Shirley Manson. The robot is created, she's fitted with a bomb, she's a replicant of a singer, and goes to kill that singer before blowing up an auditorium full of people. It makes for a cool little story. It's well acted, it's intriguing, there's some fantastic visuals. The problem is, what the heck does any of this have to do with Bond? And aside from some very lazily included film clips, I don't know if there's anything here at all to tip you off off that this would belong to a Bond film. I mean, even the film clips play alongside scenes from the music video itself, and it's like, I wonder if they were even planning to put the film clips in there in the first place, or whether the music video just got delivered and some exec was like, yeah, how does this promote the James Bond film again? And so they were kind of tacked in that way. Maybe for something like Blade Runner, it would have been more appropriate thematically, but all that being said, it is still a really cracking video, and Shirley plays her dual parts very well, particularly the robot, who she plays with a kind of inevitable sorrow, which I find just really compelling, and her giving the kiss of death to herself is just such a cool image. I love how it builds too, like eventually seeing the whole band on stage, the applauding audience, the final hard cut to black as the timer hits 0. It's all fantastic stuff. It just doesn't have a whole lot to do with James Bond. At number 5. So, all that I was saying about License to Kill, the music video being kind of dated, I mean, that also applies to the Goldeneye music video as well, which is just so 90s. It's as 90s as it can get, but I just love it. I mean, we basically have an absolutely stunning looking Tina Turner vamping her way around a very shiny and sharp looking set, giving it her absolute all to the performance. I love watching her in this video. She is just having an absolute ball, and her energy is infectious. I love how she performs a lot of the song, like looking over the back of a chair, like she wasn't even expecting the camera to be there, and she's just like, oh hello, I was just thinking about how I was going to child safety proof my very sharp set, and now I'm just gonna sing to you without bothering to get up. Props to her too for this moment, where I can only assume she's suppressing a sneeze mid-music video. With a golden There are some clips from the film featured in this one too, but I don't find them too intrusive. The intrusive dishonor goes to the strange cutaways we get every now and then of just like, well, I mean, things. I mean, there's your golden eyes and your sexy ladies, but there's also leopards and what the heck is even going on here? But it adds to the incredible camp value of this music video. It's a delight to watch, largely down to Tina Turner just giving it her all. Number 4. a-ha have one of the most iconic music videos of all time with Take On Me, so I suppose the bar is set pretty high for that band, and with The Living Daylights, they really do not disappoint. Incorporating some light elements of the rotoscoped animation that made their iconic video the icon that it is, The Living Daylights video features the band singing inside the massive 007 stage at Pinewood Studios, while clips from the film are projected on and around them, and some little nice visual flourishes here and there. I absolutely love the helicopter shot with the camera flying down through the doors of the stage and onto the band performing in the massive space. It's so cool. Admittedly, the video filters and some of the editing effects go a bit nuts in places, but hey, it was the 80s. I guess I would have maybe liked a bit more from the band themselves. Like, they just kind of perform it and bust a move here and there, but when comparing them to the likes of Tina Turner, who brings such bombacity and fun to things just by her physical performance alone, I think they could have maybe pushed the video into even greater territory with something more like that, but I understand that not all performers are the same, and regardless of that, it's still a blast of a video and does really well to incorporate scenes and elements from the film, so it feels like a music video for a James Bond film, but with a suitably younger, more hip vibe for the new era of Bond it was ushering in. At number 3. I have a feeling this is going to be a controversially high choice from me, but I can't get enough of Sheryl Crow gate-crashing a Bond title sequence, which is exactly what this video feels like. It feels like a true sister to the Daniel Kleinman title sequence from the film, using similar themes of technology and media, and yeah, it feels like the editor went a bit nuts with some fancy new video filter in a few places, but given the themes they go for, I think it actually works and holds up pretty well. But what the heck is this foot thing about? I mean, I'm assuming that one of the creatives involved had some kind of foot fetish, because this bit is so weird and has nothing to do with the film, or Bond for that matter, and always takes me a moment or two to properly compute what I'm seeing. Some of the visuals, though, are just so striking, like Sheryl Crow stood atop a mountain of static playing TVs while explosions go off behind her is just wonderful, and how the film sequences are incorporated into the video are really great and creative. In fact, I think we can all agree that the film would have been vastly vastly improved by a massive Sheryl Crow Kraken sea monster causing problems for Bond and Waylon underwater. Still, a cracking and very glossy, well-produced video, one of the best the series has to offer. Number 2. I've compared a few of these videos quite a lot with the films that they're produced to represent, and particularly with the main title sequences from the films, as the songs are always indelibly connected to those images, so it makes sense that for the first ever James Bond theme music video, they would try to combine those two art forms. The For Your Eyes Only music video is so good that quite honestly, I kind of wish that other Bond songs had just done this and literally just given us the title sequence with the singer integrated. It's of course the only film in the series to include the singer in the actual title sequence in the film, so it kind of feels like a two birds, one stone kind of deal really, but rather than feeling like corner cutting, Sheena Easton makes absolute sense to be here. She performs the song tenderly and fits right in with all the images we get of water and bubbles. There's something about this that kind of just really makes me want to go to a spa. As a result of being directed by regular Bond title designer Maurice Binder, the whole video probably stands as the raciest of all Bond music videos. I mean, without the credits themselves there to actually cover up some of the models, we just have flat-out nudity to the extent that I kinda can't believe they actually got away with it. So before we get to the number 1 pick for best James Bond music video, I just wanted to cover the ones that weren't featured on this list, as there are only 3 more that I haven't talked about, including A View to a Kill, which features some absolutely horrific visual effects, and kinda just feels like Duran Duran were given a camera and a ticket up the Eiffel Tower and told not to come back down until they had something to hand in. Another Way to Die features Jack White and Alicia Keys strutting aggressively around sand dunes from the Quantum title sequence, looking like they're gonna break into a fight at any point. And You Know My Name, which has a surprisingly disappointing music video in which Chris Cornell is filmed traveling from one gig to the next, intercut with scenes from the Casino Royale movie, and I don't know if we're supposed to be drawing a parallel between him traveling to a gig and what Bond is going through in the film or whatever. It just feels kind of lazy, which is a real shame for one of the very best, most rocking songs in the series. But with those final mentions, it leaves us with just one music video left to talk about, and I feel like this is going to be a controversial number 1 pick, but... Number 1. It's certainly not unfair of me to say that this is one of the most divisive Bond songs out there. I'd say it's a grower, personally. I mean, I may have been known to request it from DJs occasionally, usually after being more than slightly inebriated, but that's another story for another time. Whatever you think, though, of the song itself, as Bond fans, we must be able to acknowledge that the video itself hits an awful lot of sweet spots. I mean, the Die Another Day music video takes direct inspiration from sequences from the movie, most notably the North Korea torture scenes, as well as the fencing match, except here Madonna is fencing herself. There's a lot of kind of curious stuff in this video. I mean, there's a lyric in the song that goes, "Sigmund Freud, analyze this," and I don't know if that makes much sense in the context of the song itself, but when heard in relation to the video, oh boy does it suddenly become relevant. Being Madonna, I suppose it's inevitable that there would be some more pretentious and artistic elements to the Bond music video than what we would usually expect, but that's kind of what makes this one so great, I think. It feels like a lot of time and genuine thought went into this one. This is no, let's fly Sam Smith out to Italy and just have him sing in places. This is such a well-produced, well-directed piece of work that tells a story in its own right. I think the icing on the cake here is all the Bond references that are snuck into the video, and I'm not saying that necessarily that every Bond music video needs to have these kind of references and, you know, nudge you in the ribs and wink wink, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a little bit of a kick out of seeing, like, you know, Oddjob and a painted gold lady and Jaws' teeth. It's all really nice, and to be honest, I think this music video handles referencing previous Bond films better than Die Another Day does itself. There's even an oil painting of Pierce Brosnan hanging on the wall, for goodness sake, and for all the faults we may have with Madonna as an actress in the film, for the video, I think she's really great. I mean, she commits to it wholeheartedly. She's physical, she's gorgeous, she's not afraid to go to some extreme places. I think it's a really great performance, and all of these elements make it forever watchable for me. I mean, maybe it is a bit pretentious, but I like that you can return to it and spot some new things, or come away with a slightly different interpretation as to what is going on. is this music video the best thing to come out of Die Another Day? Well, really, quite possibly. So, that's my ranking. What's yours? I have a feeling there's going to be more fans of A View to a Kill out there than I was. That particular video didn't quite do it for me, but for some reason I kind of have some intuition that it's going to be quite a popular one amongst the fandom. So anyway, please do let me know in the comment section below. And as always, if you would like to go one step further and support this channel, you can head over to my Patreon page. The link is below. And then you can also head over to my social medias, my Twitter and my Facebook. And until next time, Bond fans, so long for now.